Are you tired of being recommended the same watches over and over again by online watch reviewers? Yes, all of the obvious popular watches are great suggestions, but sometimes you just want something that's a bit different. So in this video, I'll take you through 10 hidden gem watches that you need to know about. So make some room in your watch boxes because these are some seriously good watches. The first watch we'll be taking a look at is a genuine pilot's watch that features not one, but two inner rotating bezels. The cluttered dial pilot watch aesthetic is a desired look for aviation watch enthusiasts, with them being useful for calculations and just generally having a super cool look. One of my favourites, and one that massively flies under the radar, is the Bolivar A15. This automatic Miyota powered pilot's watch is inspired by military issued watches from the 1940s. It comes with a steel case housing a black dial that is surrounded by two inner rotating bezels, both of which have an independent crown on the right of the case for ease of operation. The 2 o'clock crown operates the outer bezel. This is an elapsed time bezel similar to what you'd see on a dive watch, with the 4 o'clock crown operating a 24-hour scale which can be used to track a second time zone, giving this fairly basic watch a ton of functionality. Covering the dial we have a domed sapphire crystal with AR coating, giving the outer dial some great distortion on side angles. I'll leave links to buy some of the watches featured in today's video down in the description. If you're wanting a chronograph that isn't your typical circular cased Daytona wannabe, then this next watch by microbrand Stratton might just be the one for you. If you look at the Tag Heuer Monaco, gave it a bottle of tequila and sent it off to Ibiza for a week's holiday, I feel like this is how it would come back. Basically, this watch from Stratton makes the Monaco look like a boring nerd who sits at home and plays Call of Duty till 3 AM. This is the Stratton Special, a watch inspired by a vintage 1977 Alfa Romeo sports car. This piece is bursting with both vintage and sporty design elements that give this watch a ton of personality. The asymmetrical tri-compact layout is rarely a design that we see with modern chronographs, with those 3 registers sat above the dial surface giving the visuals a ton of depth and detail. This piece either comes with a Seiko Mecha Quartz or Swiss automatic movement. Both though feature a domed sapphire crystal, a variety of striking dial options, and very wearable dimensions, even for the smallest wristed enthusiasts. Factor in a screw down crown aiding the 10 bar water resistance, and you have a hidden gem chronograph that is bursting with character. If you want an integrated bracelet watch that doesn't follow the boring Genta inspired design language, then this hidden gem by Swiss brand Mido is one to check out. This watch is a hybrid of German Bauhaus style watches and super expensive luxurious sports watches. This is the Mido Commander 2, a fairly old model by Mido that has flown under the radar for far too long. Of course, the integrated bracelet look is now a very desirable aesthetic, but for many years it was considered old-fashioned and ugly. The Commander 2 features a huge dial to watch ratio, with the front of this piece being almost completely dialed, hence the Bauhaus comparison. Even the dial design is fairly minimal and clearly doesn't follow the modern day trends of waffle textures and vibrant colours. Instead, it opts for a rather subdued silver dial with minimal markings and thin stick hands. We see a perfect 40mm case diameter, a flat sapphire crystal, and an ETA automatic movement, and the 50 meters of water resistance makes this the perfect hybrid dress, everyday and sports watch all rolled into one affordable hidden gem package. Next up, we have a fully capable dive watch that comes with a super vibrant dial that will undoubtedly turn heads, and even when the lights go out, this dial is also spectacular to look at. This watch currently holds the title for best lume on a watch that I've personally reviewed. Usually though, when a watch features incredible lume, there is a trade-off with the aesthetics of the watch in full light situations. However, this watch nails both full light and low light visuals spectacularly. This is the Phoebus Reefmaster, a watch that comes in a variety of striking dial colours that will catch the eye even on the sunniest of days. This shamrock green version is the perfect example of the personality on offer, with a stunning textured dial, a beautifully contrasting orange minute hand, and a lume experience that will glow like a nuclear reaction. The Reefmaster features a sandwich dial construction, with the lume sat beneath the dial surface giving some of the brightest time telling that I've experienced, which is surprising given how little real estate the lume actually takes up. This is a genuine diver with 200 meters of water resistance and a domed sapphire crystal. Next up, we have a Swiss-made field watch that never gets a mention here on YouTube, but in terms of specifications, it rivals even the Hamilton Khaki range. When most think of an affordable Swiss field watch, they think of the Hamilton Khaki Mechanical, which is a great timepiece for anyone looking for a military watch with genuine history. However, this hidden gem by Glycine is offering something a little different, but maintains a fantastic, long-lasting spec sheet. This is the Glycine Combat 6. Many of you will know Glycine for their Combat sub-series of dive watches, which offer great value too, but this Combat 6 field watch is massively overlooked, which features a Swiss automatic movement, a dome sapphire crystal, and a swimmable 50 meters of water resistance. And if the reason you haven't picked up a Hamilton Khaki yet is the small case size, then this Glycine at 43mm will give you something to think about. But for the small wrists, fear not, the 49mm lug-to-lug means it can also work on us too. And for only $259, this is a serious contender for best value hidden gem field watch. Now, for anyone who's looking to buy a Swiss-made automatic GMT, feast your eyes on this hidden gem by Alpina. In a world full of GMT master lookalikes, it's hard to find a GMT watch that isn't trying to be something it's not, with most modern GMTs taking the sporty route with a bi-coloured bezel and fourth GMT hand. However, Alpina must have missed the memo, because the Star Timer GMT is completely different. This GMT doesn't feature your typical fourth bright coloured hand pointing towards an even brighter bezel insert. The Star Timer features a central GMT disc, which sits beneath the hands, quietly going about its second time zone functionality without causing a stir. We also see an inner rotating bezel, which features a 24-hour scale for the GMT functionality. The cushion case also makes this watch different. I mean, how many modern GMT watches come in a cushion case? But we do see the use of a Swiss automatic movement, sapphire, and a mesh bracelet. So if you want a Swiss-made GMT watch that is bursting with vintage charm and a rather minimal appearance, then the Alpina Star Timer GMT is one to check out. Okay, coming up next, we have a super under-the-radar micro brand that creates a watch that looks like no other. This hybrid field watch is one of the craziest I have ever seen. Have you ever wanted to pick up a field watch that has a precious material as the dial surface? Well, if that's something that you've genuinely thought about, then you're way too deep into this hobby. But for you lunatics out there, your prayers have been answered by microbrand Signum. This is the Siege, a hybrid field watch that ditches the tough and rugged look and opts for something much more luxurious. The Siege comes with a range of different dial options. They offer this watch with mother of pearl, copper, meteorite, and full lume. All models look absolutely bonkers when put next to a traditional field watch, but it works, especially if you enjoy something that's a bit more flamboyant and outside of the box. The beauty goes way beyond the dial work though, with a Miyota 9000 series movement, domed sapphire, and 100 meters of water resistance. All of this is packed into a 40mm case that is only 10mm thick, including the crystal, making the Siege a super tough watch that looks like no other. Now, if you're on a super tight budget but still want to get a super cool hidden gem watch on your wrist, don't worry, I have you covered. Now, I'm sure that all of you have heard of the Cartier Tank, which is without question an icon in the watch world. However, with its expensive price tag, most will forget its existence and go buy a dive watch instead. But this watch by Sander is one that I highly suggest you check out. This is a $20 watch. Yes, you heard me correctly, $20, which is cheaper than most Casios. However, just because the price is cheap doesn't mean that the watch is crap. What really impresses me with this watch is the quality, with the printing done way better than any $20 watch has any right doing. We do only see the use of a chrome plated case, so this will patina over time. However, if like me, you just want an occasional wear dress piece, for $20 you really can't go wrong. This watch is offering ridiculous value, with a genuine two-hand quartz movement and mineral glass, and the strap and deployment buckle is actually decent too. This one is linked in the description. Now, if you want an affordable hyperwatch that competes with luxury watches in terms of the design and functionality, then this next watch should probably be on your radar. The Wandering Hour complication is usually only reserved for the hyperwatches of the world, and affordable versions usually lack the quality and end up just being a bit of a novelty. However, the Atowak Tarantula certainly does not. This piece features a modified Miyota 9000 series movement that powers a free-arm Wandering Hour mechanism. When the arm reaches the summit of the dial, the hour flips over to the next, with the time telling taking place at the bottom of the dial using a pointer and a minute scale, with the hour being displayed on the pointer itself. The main thing that impressed me with this watch is the details. Atowak Park clearly left no stone unturned when it came to production, clearly using no off-the-shelf parts and opting to get everything made just for the tarantula. And for such a unique watch, it actually wears surprisingly well, and considering that this watch is the same price as a Longines, the quality and detail here is so much higher. Seiko recently discontinued this next watch after they really struggled to sell the model, and it can now be found for super cheap prices on the grey market. But for me, it's a hidden gem. I was shocked when I found out that this model has been a failure for Seiko, because it's my favourite Seiko release since they rebranded the 5 range. This is the Seiko SRPG63, otherwise known as the Seiko 5 Cement. This piece is one of the most unique Seiko watches in recent times. Out of the box, this watch has a scratched case, making it look like the watch was already 20 years old. So why do I like this watch? Well, how many Seikos look like this? 0. Seiko did something different here. They opted to take the Dress KX case and turn it into something that's super casual, and given that this watch didn't sell as well as Seiko was hoping, I don't think we'll see Seiko do this again. This might be the first and last time we see Seiko offering this type of case finishing on a watch, making this watch a capsule in time where Seiko tried something different. If you want to support the channel and get a cool watch at the same time, check out toptierticker.com, linked in the description. And if you fancy some more hidden gem watch content, then watch my video here where I go through 10 hidden gem Seiko watches.